Ever feel like you're holding yourself back? You know, like there's this awesome, confident version of you just waiting to break free. Well, today we're diving into the world of self-confidence with Sophie Parienti as our guide.
Okay.
She's a self-development expert who's got some seriously cool strategies to help us unleash that inner confidence superstar.
What's really interesting about Parienti's approach is that she doesn't just focus on feeling good.
Right.
She shows us how self-confidence is the foundation for everything else, you know, for taking on challenges, for growing as a person, for really going after what you want in life.
It's like that saying, confidence is the key that unlocks all doors, right?
Yeah.
But how do we actually get more of it? Parienti says one of the easiest ways is to shake up our routines a little.
Exactly. It's about stepping outside that comfort zone, but in small, manageable ways.
Oh, okay.
Think about those tiny moments of hesitation you experience every day, like walking into a new coffee shop or trying a different workout class.
Oh, yeah.
Those are actually opportunities to flex your confidence muscle.
So instead of ordering my usual latte at the same place every morning, I could try that funky new cafe down the street. That's a confidence booster.
It absolutely is. Each time you push past that initial hesitation and try something new, you're proving to yourself that you can handle it. And that feeling of accomplishment, that's pure confidence fuel.
Okay. I'm starting to see how even small changes can make a difference. But what about those times when self-doubt really creeps in? Like when you're about to meet a bunch of new people.
Parienti's got a great tip for that. Take the initiative and introduce yourself.
Oh.
It sounds simple, but it's a powerful way to shift your focus away from your own nerves and onto connecting with others.
That makes so much sense. Instead of worrying about what they'll think of me, I can focus on learning about them.
Yeah.
It's like flipping the script in my head.
Exactly. And remember, everyone feels a bit awkward in new situations. By taking that first step, you're showing yourself and everyone else that you're confident and approachable.
This is really resonating with me. Now, Parienti also talks about the power of positive self-talk, right?
Right.
But isn't that just like telling yourself nice things?
Yeah.
How does that actually work?
It's more than just surface-level affirmations. It's about consciously choosing the thoughts you want to believe. Parienti calls this auto-suggestion. And it's based on the idea that our thoughts directly influence our feelings and actions.
So instead of letting those negative thoughts run wild, I can actually train my mind to think more positively.
You got it. Think of it like this. Every time you repeat a positive phrase, you're essentially rewiring your brain to focus on the good stuff. Parienti even recommends using specific phrases like, I have the skills to handle this, or I am more than capable of succeeding, to combat self-doubt.
Okay, this is starting to feel like I'm actually taking control of my confidence rather than letting it control me. But what about when you're feeling overwhelmed by a big goal? Does positive self-talk work then too?
It definitely helps. But Parienti also emphasizes the importance of setting realistic goals. When you're struggling with self-confidence, it's crucial to set yourself up for success by breaking down those big daunting goals into smaller, more manageable steps.
So instead of saying, I want to run a marathon, I could start with, I'm going to run for 30 minutes 3 times this week.
Exactly. And each time you hit one of those mini milestones, you get a little confidence boost.
Yeah.
It's like a positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
Achievement breeds more achievement, which fuels even greater self-belief.
This is making me think about all those times I felt discouraged because I was aiming too high too fast. But what about when things don't go as planned? What about making mistakes?
This is where Parienti's perspective really shines. She encourages us to embrace mistakes as valuable learning opportunities. Instead of seeing them as failures, she sees them as essential steps on the path to growth.
I love that. It's like that famous Thomas Edison quote, I haven't failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work.
Right.
So I guess it's not about avoiding mistakes, but learning from them.
Exactly. And remember, everyone makes mistakes, even the people who seem incredibly successful. By accepting that mistakes are inevitable, we can take the sting out of them and reduce the fear of failure, which could be a major confidence killer.
So we've covered shaking up routines, taking initiative in social situations, practicing positive self-talk, setting achievable goals, and even embracing mistakes. What else does Parienti have up her sleeve when it comes to boosting confidence?
Well, next she dives into the importance of aligning our actions with our core values.
Okay.
That's where things get really interesting.
Aligning our actions with our values, that sounds deep. What does Parienti mean by that? And how does it tie into confidence?
Think about it this way. When you're living in a way that feels true to yourself, that aligns with your deepest beliefs about what's important, it creates a sense of inner harmony. And that harmony breeds confidence.
It's like when you're doing something you really believe in, you just radiate a different kind of energy, right? But how do we figure out what our values actually are?
Periente suggests a simple but powerful exercise. Take some time to write down your top values across different areas of your life.
Right.
What's most important to you in your relationships, your work, your personal growth, your contributions to the world. Get it all down on paper.
And then what? Do we just frame it and hang it on the wall?
Not quite. The real magic happens when you start to examine whether your daily actions actually reflect those values. Are you walking the walk or just talking the talk?
That's a great point. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and lose sight of the bigger picture. But if there's a disconnect between what we say we value and how we're actually living, that can definitely erode our confidence.
Exactly. And when you notice those inconsistencies, it's not about beating yourself up.
Right.
It's an invitation to make adjustments, to course correct, and bring your actions back into alignment with your values. And that process of taking ownership and making conscious choices is incredibly empowering.
It's like taking responsibility for creating a life that feels authentic and meaningful, right? I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. We've talked about the mind, our thoughts, our actions, but what about the body? Does that play a role in confidence too?
Absolutely. Periente reminds us about the incredible mind-body connection and how taking care of our physical well-being can have a huge impact on our confidence levels.
I know that when I'm feeling sluggish or out of shape, it definitely affects my mood and how I feel about myself.
Yeah.
But how does exercise actually boost confidence?
Well, for starters, physical activity releases all those feel-good hormones, like endorphins, dopamine, and serotonin. These natural mood boosters help reduce stress and anxiety, which can often drag down our confidence.
It's like exercise gives you a natural high, right? And who doesn't feel more confident when they're feeling happy and energized?
Exactly. And it's not just about the mood boost. Setting and achieving fitness goals, even small ones, can also reinforce that belief in your ability to succeed. Every time you push yourself to run that extra mile, to lift that heavier weight, or to master that challenging yoga pose, you're sending a powerful message to your brain. I can do this.
And that sense of accomplishment can spill over into other areas of our lives, right?
It absolutely can. When you start to see yourself as someone who sets goals and crushes them, that confidence starts to permeate everything you do.
Okay, so we've got the mind, the body. Is there anything else Periente suggests we focus on?
Well, she touches on something that might surprise you, the connection between self-care and self-confidence.
Okay.
It's not just about pampering yourself, though. That's definitely a good thing.
Right.
It's about recognizing that how you present yourself to the world can actually influence how you feel about yourself.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Periente suggests starting with a simple but powerful practice, smiling at yourself in the mirror each morning. It sounds a bit cheesy, I know, but it's a way of acknowledging your own worth, of starting the day with a dose of self-love.
It's like giving yourself a little pep talk before you even step out the door. I like that. Yeah.
And it probably helps set a more positive tone for the whole day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just about facial expressions.
Okay.
Periente also emphasizes the importance of posture. Standing tall, walking with purpose, holding your head high. These subtle physical adjustments can actually make you feel more confident and project an aura of self-assurance.
It's like your body language is sending a message to your brain. Hey, we've got this.
That's a great way to put it. And remember, building true self-confidence isn't a one-time fix. It's an ongoing journey, a commitment to incorporating these practices into your life regularly.
It's like building any muscle. It takes consistent effort and dedication.
Yay.
But with each step you take, you're becoming a stronger, more confident version of yourself.
Exactly. And as we wrap up our exploration of Periente's insights, she leaves us with one final crucial piece of advice. Avoid comparison traps.
Oh, comparison traps. Those are the worst.
Yeah.
In today's social media-driven world, it's so easy to get caught up in comparing ourselves to others and feeling like we're not enough. It's a recipe for self-doubt and insecurity. Periente reminds us that everyone has their own unique journey, their own strengths and weaknesses, their own timeline for success. Comparing yourself to others is like comparing apples to oranges. It's simply not a fair or accurate assessment.
So how do we escape those comparison traps? How do we stay focused on our own path?
It's about recognizing that your worth isn't determined by what others are doing or achieving. Celebrate your own progress, acknowledge your strengths, and focus on becoming the best version of yourself, not a copy of someone else.
It's about remembering that we're all unique and special in our own ways.
Exactly. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Sophie Periante's wisdom on building self-confidence. We've covered a lot of ground today, from shaking up your routines and practicing positive self-talk, to aligning your actions with your values and embracing the power of self-care.
It's been an incredible journey, and I feel like I've gained so many valuable insights. But now the big question is, how do we take all this amazing information and actually apply it to our lives?
Yeah.
How do we make it real? It's like we've been given this incredible toolbox, filled with all these strategies for boosting self-confidence,
Yeah.
but now it's up to us to actually use them right.
That's the exciting part. You've got the knowledge, the guidance from Periante's work. Now it's all about taking action, putting these strategies into practice in your own life.
So where do we even begin? There's so much we've covered today. It's a little overwhelming.
Take a deep breath and remember, you don't have to do everything at once. Start small. Pick one or two things that resonate with you and commit to incorporating them into your daily routine.
Okay, so maybe I could start by paying more attention to my self-talk, challenging those negative thoughts and replacing them with Periante's positive affirmations.
That's a great place to start. And how about adding that little morning ritual of smiling at yourself in the mirror?
It's a simple act, but it can really set the tone for a more confident day.
I love that idea. And maybe I could also try that exercise Periante suggested.
Yeah.
Writing down my core values and seeing if my actions are actually aligned with them.
Excellent choices. Remember, it's about progress, not perfection. Don't get discouraged if you slip up or if things don't change overnight. Building self-confidence is a journey, and it takes time and effort.
It's like training for a marathon. You wouldn't expect to run 26 miles in your first day out. You build up your strength and endurance gradually with each step you take.
Exactly. And just like a marathon runner, you need to fuel yourself with positive energy and support. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who believe in you, and who encourage your growth.
And don't be afraid to celebrate your wins no matter how small they may seem.
Right.
Every step forward is a victory worth acknowledging. Absolutely. Now, as we wrap up this deep dive, let's go back to Periante's final piece of advice, avoiding comparison traps. How can you remind yourself to stay focused on your own unique path?
I think it's about remembering that social media often presents a distorted view of reality. We're only seeing the highlight reels, not the behind-the-scenes struggles and imperfections.
That's so important to keep in mind. And remember, you are the author of your own story. You get to decide what success looks like for you. What matters most is that you're moving forward in a direction that feels authentic and fulfilling.
So if you're feeling stuck or discouraged, take a moment to look back at how far you've already come. Acknowledge your growth, celebrate your achievements, and remind yourself that you are capable of amazing things.
Beautifully said. And remember, true self-confidence comes not from comparing yourself to others, but from recognizing your own unique strengths and striving to continuously improve them.
It's about embracing who you are, flaws and all, and believing in your ability to create the life you want.
And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of self-confidence. We hope you found this exploration insightful and empowering.
Thank you for joining us. We encourage you to revisit the key takeaways from Periante's work and start taking action today. Remember, even small steps can lead to big transformations when it comes to building self-belief.
And most importantly, be kind to yourself throughout the process. Growth takes time, and it's okay to stumble along the way. Embrace the journey and never stop believing in your own potential.
That's a wrap on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world of knowledge.